Welcome. For today's video, I'm going to review a film so infamous, it is deemed as the worst movie ever made. So I'm going to check out Robot Monster. Robot Monster, also known as Monster from Mars, is a 1953 independent black and white 3D science fiction film produced and directed by Phil Tucker and written by Wyatt Ordom. The film was produced by Three Dimensional Pictures and was distributed by Astor Pictures. And like how I mentioned before, it is deemed as one of the worst films ever made. So I want to find out for myself if it is. So without further ado, let's check it out. The film begins with some child actors, but not just any child actors, 1950s child actors.
Am I dead? You're disintegrated. Good. Does that mean we can play house now? You promised.
These woods are full of spacemen. It's either them or us.
Anyways, the kids meet a pair of archaeologists like the professor, played by John Malone, and the professor's assistant, Roy, played by George Nader, in his acting debut, as these two are at Bronson Cave, which is known for being used in a shit ton of films and TV shows. And it's not far from the Hollywood sign. Anyways, we then meet the rest of the cast, like the kids' older sister, Alice, played by Claudia Barrett, and the mother, played by Selena Royale, in her final film role, as she was blacklisted for being a communist. But back to the film. The family here are having a picnic, and we get some exposition.
Say, are we ever going to have a new father around our house?
I don't know, dear. Would you like that?
If we do, I hope he's a big scientist that makes rocket ships and things like that.
Well, I would prefer an undercover spy for a dad, or even Bob Ross. Anyways, we fade back to the film. The family here are being knocked out for some reason, and the boy Johnny wakes up and runs back to Bronson Cave. And this happens. Damn, this movie ended quickly. Just kidding. We then get a seizure-induced montage with stock footage from Flight to Mars, 1 million years BC, and the Lost Continent. And by the way, this scene from 1 million years BC shows actual animal cruelty.
That's no good.
Anyways, Johnny wakes up and there is a bubble machine. Why and how? No clue. And we finally meet our antag of the film, Roman. And there he is, one of the most goofiest monsters ever created, and he is played by stuntman George Burroughs, who owns that gorilla suit, and Roman is voiced by British actor John Brown, who was also blacklisted for being a communist. Anyways, Roman here is having a Zoom call with his superior, the Great Guidance, or the Great One as Roman calls him, as Roman informs the Great One that human life is destroyed on Earth with a death rate to prevent humanity from challenging his race. However, 8 humans still remain in a protected facility, and the survivors are the professor from earlier, the mother, Alice, the girl Carla, and Johnny. Roman then contacts the survivors by Zoom and announces some shit.
Due to an error in calculation, there are still a few of you left. You escaped destruction because I did not know you existed.
Anyways, Roman shows the survivors stock footage from the movie Captive Women on how he killed the other survivors. Then we see that Roy is still alive, and Roman makes another Zoom call.
Have you made the correction? I need guidance, Great One. For the first time in my life, I am not sure. You sound like a human, not a Roman. Can you not verify a fact?
What an asshole!
So the Great Guidance orders Roman to kill the remaining humans. Then Roy goes back to the hideout and says that the space pilots, Jason and McLeod, neither of whom we ever see or hear again, escape in a rocket ship in order to reach a space platform. Then Roman live streams the spaceship doing a Challenger.
The Great One himself sends the cosmic blast that atomizes rocket ship, space platform.
I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
After that shit, the professor contacts Roman, pleading him to let them go as they pose no threat to him.
Or is it in the ethical code of your people? Those children must be murdered.
You are not like my people. You are savage barbarians, non-Roman, animals.
I mean, he's not wrong. Anyways, Roman instead demands to talk to Alice alone, who agrees despite her family's protests. Then Johnny leaves to find Roman and asks him some questions.
I wanted to find out what you had against me.
You are human. Your people were getting too intelligent. We could not wait until you were strong enough to attack us. We had to attack you first.
Seriously? Too intelligent? Have you seen TikTok? Anyways, Roman tries to kill Johnny with his death ray, but to no avail. And Johnny here explains that he took an experimental antibiotic serum developed by the professor to be immune to the death ray, causing Roman to begin planning a method to counteract this immunity. And fun fact, the movie was filmed at Chavez Ravine, an area that had displaced an entire town of Mexican Americans, with the promise to build public housing for them, but instead the city decided to build Dodger Stadium. And the film's director Phil Tucker chose this area as it looks perfect for an apocalyptic film. Anyways, Alice ventures out with Roy to find Johnny's dumbass, and Johnny arrives home safe, and we get our obligatory 50s romance subplot.
Boring.
Anyways, what is Roman up to? Then both Alice and Roy return to the facility and they announce to the professor their desire to marry, and the professor then gets them wed. Meanwhile, Roman contacts the Great One to announce his plan, and he is told that he must complete this goal before the Earth finishes revolving.
Reduce their counterpower. Eliminate the error. Death to humans.
Hey, this guy's all right.
Meanwhile, both Alice and Roy leave for their honeymoon, and Carla goes after them to give them some flowers. However, on her way home, Roman finds her.
What are you doing here alone, girl child?
My daddy won't let you hurt me.
We'll see.
Well, we're fucked.
Then Roman reports his recent kill and asks the Great One if he can keep one of the humans because he developed an illogical attraction to Alice, but he cannot bring himself to eliminate her. But the Great One demands that he continues his mission no matter what. Anyways, Roman rediscovers Alice and Roy and throws Roy off a cliff. Then the rest of the family finds Carla's corpse and bury her, and Roy shows up alive to reveal that Roman has Alice and dies. Well, kid, looks like you have to repopulate the earth, doing the Sweet Home Alabama. Meanwhile, Roman takes Alice to his cave and attempts to woo her.
Would you treat me like a man?
Jesus Christ, who the fuck taught you that? Harvey Weinstein? Then that shit gets interrupted by the professor's broadcast where he asks for a quick death at the ravine, and Roman agrees, but immediately after this, the Great One contacts him, and he's pissed off for rejecting the plan to instead keep the girl and accuses him of bearing free will in violation of their law.
To think for yourself is to be like the human. Yes, to be like the human. To laugh, feel, want. Why are these things not in the plan?
I don't know, man. Are you guys with China? Or the Russians? I mean, there's a lot of communists in this film. Anyways, the Great One gives Roman one last chance to destroy the girl, which Roman refuses. Then Johnny distracts him, allowing the family to save Alice. And Johnny gets strangled by Roman, and Roman gets killed by the Great One for disobeying orders. And the Great One continues the genocide with cosmic June rays, which again gives us some more stock footage and a shit ton of earthquakes. But it turns out it was all a dream, and everybody's alive, and the film ends happily ever after. Or does it?
What a twist!
And that was Robot Monster. Unsurprisingly, the film has been critically panned by critics. However, it was a commercial success, as the film made $1 million at the box office with a budget of somewhere between $16,000 to $20,000. And like how I mentioned before, the film has been deemed as one of the worst films ever made, with even film historian Leonard Maltin calling it a piece of shit.
From a certain point of view.
But nevertheless, the film continued to be a cult classic. In addition, the monster was the inspiration for the character Minion in the film Megamind. And the film was also featured in Mystery Science Theater 3000.
You know, you'd think if he was going to rule the world, he'd pick a better spot than a cave.
And Rift Tracks even released their own Rift version of the film. And also there's a creature from the SCP Foundation resembling Roman called SCP-2006. So with all that out of the way, now what do I think of the film? Well, I couldn't agree more with the critics. This movie is a piece of shit. Like seriously, everything's bad. Right down to the acting to production. Hell, it even has some boring moments. And the character Roman just walks around or goes into another Zoom call. And the film also relies a lot on stock footage. And honestly, this was a bore to watch. So yeah, personally I wouldn't recommend this film, and I would give it 1 Roman out of 5. And that was the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this. Stay safe out there. Goodbye.
You look like a pooped out pinwheel.